Welcome to Billionaires Row, everybody. Let's rank the 20 Premier League owners from worst to best. 20, Chelsea, Todd Boehly. Okay, semi-tongue-in-cheek this one, as I'm sure he'll get it right soon. But one season in, he spent absolutely loads, sacked managers, and taken Chelsea to their lowest finish in pretty much 3 decades. Must do better. 19, Everton, Farhad Moshiri. Everton are generally expected to be up in the top half, challenging under Moshiri. They've just avoided relegation the past 2 years. We think there's an FFP punishment coming next season too. 18, Manchester United, the Glazer family. We're nearly 2 decades in. They're as unpopular as ever. It may be over soon though. Big dividends, big debts, stadium getting dated. No Premier League title for 10 years for one of the world's biggest football clubs. 17, Wolves, faux son. Now, I'm preemptively putting Wolves low down here as FFP looks like it might be a problem in the next set of accounts. I never really liked the way that they lost 57 million to win the championship, but fair play for the 5 seasons at the top. What happens next will be interesting. 16, Sheffield United, Prince Abdullah. He's taken them back to the Premier League, but there is talk of a very low budget and some interesting tales from last season, let's just say. Makes me hope rather than expect a good run for the Blades up in the Premier League. 15, Fulham, Shahid Khan. Okay, minus points for the 3 relegations down to the Championship and those absurd ticket prices. Big plus points though for getting them back up and keeping them there. They were 13 seasons at the top level before Khan arrived. Can he get a run going? 14, Nottingham Forest, Evangelos Marianakis. Okay, credit where it's due. It's been a good couple of years for Mr. Marianakis. Forest back up, and that big gamble last year did pay off in the end to keep them there. I have to say, before then, it was a bit mental with sackings and complete resets during transfer windows. Some interesting dealings with the other clubs he owns too, but he's in credit with me at the moment. 13, Spurs, Joe Lewis. If ownership was judged purely commercially, then Lewis would be right at the top of this list. It's not though, as Spurs fans might like to see some better on-pitch stuff delivered in their beautiful stadium. Just the League Cup in his 2 decades won. 12, Arsenal, Stan Kroenke. Okay, it looks like things are trending up for Arsenal now after this past season, but we cannot forget how hugely unpopular Silent Stan has been as the owner since 2011. Arsenal won 13 titles without Kroenke, none with him yet. 11, Bournemouth, Bill Foley. We'll stick Bournemouth right in the middle purely because Foley has only been there a matter of 6 months. Big thumbs up though, he couldn't really have done much more actually. Good window and Premier League survival confirmed. We'll learn much more next year. We will be right back with the top 10, but if you want to support the channel more than just by liking or commenting, then check out my Patreon for some extra content and the chance to chat with me and the gang on our regular roundtable debate shows. 10, Burnley, ALK Capital. Now this is probably the biggest surprise of the whole list because everyone told me that this would be curtains for Burnley when they went down, but what they did in the Championship was absolutely brilliant. Can they keep it up, stay in the Premier League, keep that good work going? 9, Crystal Palace, Parish, Harris, Blitzer and Texter. Sound like Santa's bloody reindeers, don't they? This is a very simplistic take, but Palace's size relative to a decade-long Premier League run is really impressive to me. 8, Newcastle United, PIF. Look, I really don't want to get this channel into socio-political territory here. I understand people's reservations. I will leave it at that. What I will say is the club has completely turned around and you can't really fault the progress since PIF arrived. I'll say no more. 7, Aston Villa, NSWE. These guys aggressively powered Villa back through the Championship and have pushed on since. I am very interested to see where things go following that high finish of 7th and the removal of Christian Purslow. 6, West Ham, Sullivan, Krasinski and the Gold Estate. The Hammers owners have overseen a stadium move, a quick bounce back from the Championship, 5 top half finishes, and now they've won a European trophy. Excellent work. 5. Luton Town 2020. Premier League's newest team are Luton after they won the playoffs in May. And for God's sake, they've come all the way from non-league to be there. A complete example of how to run a club sensibly and successfully. The story gets even better should they stay in the Premier League. 4. Brentford, Matthew Benham. Another brilliant climb, League One to Premier League. Premier League top 10 this season, in fact. New stadium, always ahead of the curve, and a fine example to all promoted teams. 3. Liverpool, Fenway Group. Look, to even have got close to Manchester City, let alone beaten them a couple of times this past decade, is an achievement. They probably would have dominated in a parallel universe if it wasn't for that rivalry. That said, Klopp has still won pretty much everything, and Liverpool continues to be a global giant of a football club. 2. Brighton, Tony Bloom. I realise we could be at a peak for Brighton right now, but League One to top 6 of the Premier League, new stadium, everyone wants their players, everyone wants their managers. What more can an owner of a non-super club actually do? 1. Manchester City, Sheikh Mansour. And yes, there is a giant if with this one. If Manchester City do indeed have the irrefutable evidence they claim to have in order to defend the 115 breaches against them, then they are my number one. They've built a dynasty, 7 titles and this treble. If they're guilty, they go straight to the bottom. There is my list. Get yourselves involved in the comments. I'd love to get your takes, but if you reply saying the team I support should be higher, which, and this is going to blow your mind, lots of people do, I'm going to need to know who they go above and why. If you take my list, don't move any other team and bump your club up 5 places. Well, come on. That feels a little bit suspicious to me. If you enjoyed this video and you want some more owners ranked, then click here and you'll see my list of all 24 championship owners ranked from worst to best.